Wow, and
Good
we are
evening.
live. I forgot to do our applause. It makes it seem like
Wow!
here. Where's our
We'll re-come into the room. Bear with. There we go.
There we go.
Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Perfect. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's a wild week. It's been a wild few weeks, and it's going to get more exciting. There's so much happening, which we're gonna get into it. We're gonna do all the updates in this little live stream. But I'm well. How are you? And happy birthday, bro.
Oh, thank you, and happy birthday to you as well. We have so Johanna, your birthday was what, on Wednesday, and mine was on Friday.
Yeah, we have birthdays 48 hours apart, which is great because we every year we get to do a birthday stream. So
yep,
here we are.
Yeah, everybody, leave a comment if you guys were here for last year's birthday stream. We've been doing this show for a little while now.
Yeah, over a year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's gone by fast. Hey, or have you done something? You look different. Have you done something to, like, new makeup routine, new hair? Oh, it's that.
It might be what I'm wearing, sir.
Oh,
see, that's my new hat.
Very similar to this shirt that I'm wearing
here.
Oh,
snap! Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think we've been talking about doing this for quite a while now, guys.
We've been in the design workshop for a while.
We've been in the design phase for a little while, but I'm so pleased with the way Raiders University came out.
And we've been doing loads of different designs for loads of different products. This is the first wave of designs, and we've taken time because one thing we didn't want to do was do rush, crappy, basic, boring merch. We wanted to make sure, check everything was quality good, and that we approved it and that we would love it and we would buy it ourselves. So everything that we've approved of is now going to be live, but I cannot get over how cool this hat is.
Yeah, it's so cool. It looks just like it's embroidered, and it's the highest quality. We went with a company called Fourth Wall. You know, a lot of YouTubers, I think, typically the standard is like Teespring. But Teespring, there can be some issues, whatever. So we went with, this is like a premium company. This is as good as it gets for what we do. It's called Fourth Wall. Very, very nice stuff. And so we went through a bunch of different designs, a bunch of different companies, picked the right one. And like Johanna said, we wanted to make merch that we would actually wear ourselves. And I couldn't be happier with the way it all came out. And so Johanna's going to be getting the hoodie here pretty soon, maybe like today or tomorrow.
So I tested, obviously it's interesting because I'm over here in the UK and you're in America. I ordered the cap and I ordered the hoodie, and I think they were sent from maybe different warehouses. I got this in 48 hours. It was so quick. The hoodie is coming from a warehouse in America, so it's taken a little bit longer, but I can track it every day. I know exactly where it is, and it's literally, I think it's arriving tomorrow, but we didn't want to delay doing a live stream and like launching it. But yeah, so literally probably tomorrow I'll be getting the hoodie and living in it, because I bought an extra large so that I could live in it if I need to, as a tent.
Yeah. And then the other thing that was probably, I think it was the very first idea that Johanna came up with that we haven't gotten in yet, is the tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
That was a great idea. But it's just that, well, if you want to explain it.
Well, I saw it was at Cosmic Summit last year, and one of the speakers, Paul, was wearing a hat that said tinfoil on it, and I was like, I want one.
Oh, is that where it came from? That's funny.
That's where it came from. But I said, where did you get that? And he didn't. I didn't think he could give me. Anyway, I didn't know where to buy one, so I was like, we should make one. And I thought that's great, because one of the running themes of all of the merch, or a lot of the merch, is that it's kind of an in joke or an in club. So yeah, the idea of having a literal tinfoil hat, amazing. And the whole idea of the Raiders University, it's a fake university that we'd love you all to enroll in. If you would like to become a student of Raiders University, all you have to do is buy a bit of the merch and you're automatically enrolled in the university.
That's right. That's right.
We can all learn together.
And Johanna and I were just talking before the show, maybe there's on checkout, you can leave a note and, just tell us your name or username or whatever you want. And then in the description of all the shows in the future, and then at some point we're going to make an outro for this. So rather than just closing down, there'll be an outro that wraps us up, and it'll have a list of all the students enrolled in Raiders University. So you can have your name on there and everything. Yeah.
And also, if you guys didn't realize, obviously everyone here is like joining us live because we do this live jointly through our YouTubes, but we've actually organized a proper channel on Spotify for Raiders of the Past podcast, which has all of the video and audio, and we're currently uploading the backlog of the last year, but very quickly that's going to update so that you can also watch us and find us on Spotify if that's what you prefer to watch us on. So we are like very slowly becoming a professional pod, but it's chill. We're doing it in our own time.
Yeah. And I think that was something else I was thinking is we've been talking forever about getting on a regular schedule, but our lives have just been kind of turned upside down this year for both of us.
Yeah, and some wild.
What I was thinking that maybe we do is Johanna and I get together and we decide specific dates ahead of time, and then we put out something that's like, these are the dates and times for US and UK that the show will be on. So we try to do it once a month, get together and talk. But it's not always like the first Monday or the first Sunday. It just kind of ends up being when she and I can get together. So maybe what we'll do is we'll put out a schedule ahead of time that you can always reference back to.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely. So actually it's officially live as of now. The websites are live. You can find either through Luke's YouTube channel or my YouTube channel, either one. I'm going to try and link it to my TikTok. Are you linking to your TikTok as well?
Maybe. I just don't use my TikTok as much.
You're not a TikTok. Okay, I do a lot of ancient history stuff on TikTok. So if I can work out how to do that. I got someone saying tinfoil hat goes hard. Yes, it does.
Yes, I can't wait to get that in.
And I can recommend the hats from Fourth Wall. It's really good quality. I'm quite particular with my hats. Like they have to be a certain shape and they have to be quite good quality. And the inspiration behind this whole Raiders University, it was your idea. Who's this inspired by?
What was it inspired by? I can't remember. Do you remember?
A certain director.
Oh, Steven Spielberg hats. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because on every movie, Steven Spielberg has like a branded merch hat to whatever he's doing, and so we thought we would like emulate the late great. He's still here. Emulate the greatest. Oh no, my dogs. No, lie down. He's getting way too excited about the merch. He was gonna.
Yeah, that just goes to show you guys how long we've been working on this. I forgot where I got the idea from.
We forgot the origins of it.
This has been like 6 months that we've been just talking about this and going back and forth. I mean, we've had Raiders University for quite a long time now, but I just couldn't be happier with the way this turned out. And like you were saying about it being inside jokes and stuff, or about it being, you're kind of in on it. Johanna and I didn't want to do anything where it was like the logo of the show on a shirt.
Or our faces or anything boring.
Yeah. I don't care about somebody walking around with my logo or my face or me or anything. I just want it to be like, if you're in the club, you're in the club. And if you just on the off chance you happen to see somebody with one of these shirts, you would both know where that came from.
And stay eyes peeled, because the next round of merch that we're still finalizing is more in-joke club group stuff. It's more fun than in jokes. So yeah, if you know, you know. Thanks, Zion.
So anyways, that's us plugging the merch line. We're really, really happy to get this out. But Johanna, what have you been up to lately?
Well, most people are like following, or if it's your first time here, then maybe you don't know, but I am literally about to have a baby. And my plan for this whole year was I was going to be so organized, and I was going to like pre-make so much content so that everybody would have regular videos and nobody would notice that I'd even slipped off to have a baby. Didn't work out like that, because my whole pregnancy has been one huge shit show. And I've been sick the entire time, and I was bedbound for like many months. So I've fallen off a lot of the content bandwagon. I've done a lot more. I've been able to make TikToks a lot more than I've YouTube, because they're quicker, and I can sort of take breaks and lie down again. But yeah, and then now the baby is coming earlier than expected, and it will literally be this week. We're not sure which day, but it will be one day this week. So so it's not just going to be our birthdays, it will also be my baby's birthday around the same time. So yeah, it's all kicking off. It's not we already know it's a girl. It's not going to be a boy. I can see in the comments people are going, is it a boy or a girl? It's definitely a girl. And yeah, she's incoming. So right now it's like all stations go, just getting ready, bags packed. Is everything? Have we got everything? I don't know. It's first baby ever, and only baby ever. I think I'm not doing this again. Absolutely not.
So how do you feel mentally knowing that like your whole life is going to change here pretty soon?
Oh,
I mean, it already has, but
yeah. No, I'm ready. I'm ready. We're ready for the challenge. Me and my fiance, we're so ready to be parents, and yeah, we're just gonna dive in. I think we've prepped as much prep as we can do at this point, and then the next stage is just working it out. They just give you a kid and then go, good luck with that. So so there we are.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't think people go, hope the kid gets a tinfoil hat. She will absolutely get a tinfoil hat when she's ready.
I love that. We have the ability on Fourth Wall to make baby clothes too.
Oh, because you know what? I was looking for like ancient Egyptian themed baby stuff, because I thought that'd be cool stuff for the nursery. There's nothing. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any. So if anyone knows of where you can get cool like ancient history or ancient Egyptian baby stuff, then let me know. But I couldn't find
if anybody has babies and they want us to put something up on the store for your baby, let us know.
Yeah, maybe she can model the merch. But yeah, so excited, terrified, all of it. Never done it before. But I mean, we got a dog 5 years ago, and I think that a dog is the good first step. Do you know what I mean? You do a plant, can you keep a plant alive? Then can you keep a pet alive? And then you can graduate to humans.
Yeah.
So here we go. A mini raider is on the way.
And there's also that sorry, keep going.
No, I just thought, I mean, like, I guess we've already known her name for absolutely ages, and so it's not a secret, but I can say it to the Raiders podcast because you guys will get it. We decided to call her Atlas after the king of Atlantis. So there we are.
I love it. It's a great name. It's a great name. You're gonna be such a cool mom.
Oh, baby Atlas. Well, my Raiders hat.
Yeah.
The Peru trip will have to wait. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to be out of the game, but the good news is I'm not planning on taking like a year maternity. We work online, and that doesn't stop. So obviously I'm going to stop to like recover and have a baby and meet her and everything. But then I'm going to have to just work out how to do my life, and I'm really excited to get back and yeah, just doing that alongside being a mum, just adding it on,
Yeah, just throw it on the fire. Are you allowed to talk about anything else you're working on?
What else am I working on?
Well, you have that whole other project, but if we can't talk about that, I won't talk about it.
Wait. Oh,
the one that has nothing to do with ancient history.
Oh, the other podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. So just because but 5 years ago, anyone who followed me way before I did ancient history stuff, I've been doing ancient history stuff since the pandemic. But since 2016, I did sketch comedy online, and I have a comedy partner called Sophie, and together we did loads of like sketch comedy. There's still remnants of it around and about, and we had a podcast that was called Dear Mr. Nicothief. You can still find it on Spotify, and recently it was picked up by some podcast producers, and they want to help us make a new series. So we've been making a new series of that. So I've been doing 2 podcasts, very different podcasts. And unfortunately, Dear Mr. Nicothief isn't really probably for the audience that Raiders is. They're 2 separate entities.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we may have a lot of
bit of a crossover. Weirdly, when I started doing ancient history stuff, I thought none of my audience is going to want to follow this because they're here for all of the like slapstick comedy characters, and everybody stayed and more people turned up because they love the ancient history stuff. So there we go.
Yeah, what was I don't know if we ever talked about this. So you start out doing comedy, sketch comedy. Where did the impetus for enjoying ancient history start? How did it, do you remember where your mind was like awoken to the ancient world?
Oh yeah, it was literally in the pandemic. That's when I've loved ancient history, always loved a bit of Stonehenge and all that, but it was in the pandemic when I had more time to Google things and fall down, and it was literally Joe Rogan, and that's how I came across Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. I hadn't heard of them before. They hadn't come into my sphere. And Jimmy from Bright Insight. It was his sort of Atlantis theory. It just hooked me, and I was in, and that was it. I was just spent hours and hours and hours researching in the pandemic. And there we are. And that's how, and then I just got hooked. And I think once you start to look at all of the weird mysteries and questions and holes in the history world, I don't think you can like turn away from it again and not be bothered. It's so addictive, and it keeps more stuff. Graham Hancock was completely right. Stuff just keeps getting older. They keep finding things and more interesting things. They find more hominids of humans that are like added to the family tree. There's now like guaranteed, there was like a definitive 7 types of different humans, all around the same time, all cross interbreeding. Like the Dragon Man, I think, was maybe the 7th one that's been added to it, or something. But it's just, even in the last like 5 years that I've been like kind of plugged in to what's going on, it's really, really interesting sort of arena to be in. And you get to meet really cool people, connect with really cool people, everyone out here that's following the channel. Yeah, it's awesome.
What are you looking forward to making videos and stuff on once you get get past the whole pregnancy and everything and you're back into it?
Once I stop feeling violently sick and I feel like myself again, but then I can like actually move and travel around. I've been really restricted in where I can go, how much I can, like even like things like reading can make me feel really sick. So I've been really limited on how much I can even research. But I'm really excited about stuff that's going on. So much stuff is happening with Hawara. I'm excited to follow the Matt Beals stuff from the Limitless podcast, because he's funding the exploration of the Pyramid Void.
Yep.
And that's going to be happening
whenever they finally actually do it. No, it was going to be November. I'm trying to sync up my schedule to be there for it. But it's tough because they had it set for November, and then Zahi announced that it's going to go back to like March at least.
There's always a delay in Egypt, always, but
yeah. So it's kind of tough. I don't see. I don't know, because Zahi was just, so it was like up until he did the thing on Piers. Now the thing is, Zahi doesn't technically, whether or not I'm speaking technically, not literally, but technically he's not supposed to have sway in Egypt. Like he's not supposed to have
he's
power.
not the antiquities minister anymore. He got removed from that for dodgy dealings.
But in a literal sense, I don't know, because obviously he's still a big deal and like a spokesperson for Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities or Culture. But it was like up until he had that appearance on Piers Morgan, it was like we were definitely going to explore the void. And then after the appearance, some of the guys that are working in Britain and some of the guys in Egypt are now saying that they're looking for methods to explore it without maybe not. Good Lord. They're looking for methods to explore it where they may not have to drill at all, which means that it's possible that there's no camera going in it at all, which is, I don't know. A lot of people are going to be very discontented with that, probably including me. You know what I mean? You find a giant void in the Great Pyramid, send a damn camera in it. You know, I get that it takes a long time and you're trying to figure out how exactly to do it. And they want to find the cracks between the blocks to send like a snake cam through the cracks all the way up to the void without having to drill. I don't know. I just don't know.
This is why we do this live, so you guys can help us and chat to us as well. But Black Tie just said non-invasive is the word you're looking for, the phrase. I agree. Non-invasive exploration is the best for preserving. However, when it comes down to like categorically, you know, stamping the matter of fact of what it is, we need to see. Because I do trust you know, scanning machines and radar scans and things like that, because you can get a very, very good picture, but there's just nothing beats like the human eyeball, you know what I mean? So so it would be very useful. I think it would be worth sacrificing like a small section of slab of pyramid just for the fundamental understanding of what the hell is inside, because
of course
we really don't know what is in there. And it makes sense. It makes more sense that the pyramid is full of voids and other chambers and shapes and passages and things, because they are so big. It's almost a joke that they're that big and that the chambers are that small inside.
Man, I hope that there's something in that chamber. Something. I don't know what, but something. I just hope it's not, you know, completely empty. I feel like I'm 50-50 on whether or not 50% chance there's going to be literally nothing, and then a 50% chance that there's going to be anything, whether it's, you know, some void with, who knows, leftover tools or markings or just anything at all. I hope something's in there and we don't send the camera in there and they're like, oh man, it looks like every chamber and every other pyramid.
So here's the thing, is obviously the theory of pyramids are tombs. It relies entirely on the fact that the king's chamber is in fact like the burial place of a pharaoh, and the fact that the void is higher up than the king's chamber, because this is what happened when they found the queen's chamber. They were like, oh, this is the pharaoh's chamber, and then they were like, no, there's another one. And so then they had to sort of like backtrack and work out why are there two chambers in the one thing. And somebody came up with a theory saying that they built the queen's chamber and it wasn't big enough, it wasn't right. So because they're building from the ground up, right? Obviously it's pyramid. And so that they finished the queen's one.
No.
Yeah, as far as we know. But then you can't categorically, if the king's chamber is supposed to be the burial thing, then why are you putting a massive void after you've completed? You can't tell me that they're like three times of them going, nope, it's not big enough, it's not correct. I don't believe that narrative, because everything was so precise. So I don't believe the bent pyramid was a mistake. I think that it's at an angle for a reason. I don't think the Egyptians were masterful, and everything's down to like millimeter precision in some cases. So I do not think anything was built by mistake, or I don't think there was. So I think that
you think there's going to be anything in it?
Probably not, because if the pyramids are early dynasty or even a bit pre-dynastic, I don't think there will be any inscriptions, because it doesn't fit the narrative of all the other, all of the oldest stuff is super streamlined, and it makes sense that it makes sense to me that if they weren't originally built to be tombs and were later used as burial sites for other people, I don't know why there would be stuff. Why would you put junk in there if it's got some sort of functional use in there? There wouldn't be.
No idea.
Maybe I'm thinking chemical residue, like the Queen's chamber, which was full of 2 inches of salt. So,
Mhm.
originally when they went in there, they've removed and they've scraped off. It's like, dude, there was so much forensic evidence in there and chemical
Yeah.
evidence. There's stuff that was it's part you've just taken a major piece out of the puzzle of the pyramids. The Queen's Chamber had thick, thick residue of salt, and they've
Yeah,
scraped it away.
the first, archaeologists and explorers all around the world just decimated archaeological sites. Like they just did not realize what they were doing, and they thought that, oh well, this is all this muck that's all over these walls. Let's remove this,
Mhm.
without realizing that like how much that can actually tell you later on about they just don't have the technology. They can't even perceive the fact that they're ruining the data of the site.
And the only thing that anybody has found in any sarcophagus, I can just see that people in the comments are saying about the word sarcophagus. All we know for sure, all that we actually have evidence that would pass like in a court of law, we know that they're called granite boxes or granite containers. That's what we know
Mhm.
for sure because there hasn't been the bodies found in them. But what has been found in a granite box slash sarcophagus is again a chemical residue. There was like basically a load of goo that was
Yeah.
found in the pyramid. Forgetting the name, it's the pyramid that it's completely off. Nobody can visit it now. Um, maybe if anyone can jump in, it was the one that appeared in a movie in the 1960s, and then after the 1960s, Egypt built an army base literally over the premises of the remains of this pyramid. The top the top of the pyramid has fallen away and it's not there anymore. They've just got ground level and down, and
Is it the Black Pyramid?
nope, not
Is
that
it is
pyramid.
it's not out at, Dashur, or is it at Saqqara?
I, do you know what, I did a video on it, but it was a few years ago. Um, the reason why this pyramid is one of my fave bits of ancient pyramid is that the sarcophagus was the only non rectangular one found in Egypt. It was like it looked like an oval bathtub, granite oval bathtub, and it also was placed into the floor. So it was a granite. It was yeah, like submerged into the floor.
Uh-huh.
And when they found it and dug all the trash out and like excavated it in the 1800s, there are some photos of it. They pried open the lid, and the lid had been like fused shut with some sort of lime wash. They'd fused the lid shut,
Really?
and they
Wow.
were sure they were going to find the first pharaoh inside a sarcophagus. They were like,
Mhm.
no one's opened this, since antiquity. And they cracked it open, and then they recorded in the 1800s, maybe it was Petrie, could be making that up, that inside this sarcophagus tub, granite tub, was this like a gooey residue,
Yeah,
substance of
yeah.
some kind.
And
So
no body in it.
nobody, just a
Yeah,
substance. But obviously they didn't have like the forensic tools back then to work out exactly what it was. And I
yeah.
think in the process of cleaning up the site, it's gone. But it was recorded that that was what was found. I've got to find out. Let's have a look. The
You know, when I was
secret.
when
Zor-
I was in, when I was in high school, there was a black granite sarcophagus that was discovered underneath modern day Cairo during, I don't know, construction of a building, or they leveled some kind of building and they found it underneath there.
Mhm.
And and I remember people talking about how if they open it up, everyone's joking, if they open up the sarcophagus, it's going to be the end of the world because they're going to release some mummy curse on the rest of the world or whatever. But I remember I must have been 15 or 16, seeing a video or seeing a photo of them open up the giant black lid, and on the inside it was just goo. It was like goo, oil, muck at the
Yeah.
bottom with no bones at all. And
Right.
that is such a common thing in Egypt. They even find wooden sarcophagi inside of tombs that they think have never been breached or raided in antiquity. They open up the wooden sarcophagus and there's nothing in there.
Oh yeah.
It's bizarre.
I found the picture on. I'm
Oh,
gonna
really?
I'm gonna share the screen so
Okay.
that I can because the pyramid. Thanks, guys. In the stream, it is the they call it the unfinished pyramid of Zoyet Aran. Probably butchered that. Let me see if I can share my screen. Bear with, guys. Bear with. Okay, share screen. Let's just share the entire screen. Okay, here we go. So, can you see what I see? Am I screen sharing?
Yep, you're on.
So, can you see this weird, like, bathtub shape granite sarcophagi?
Whoa.
In the floor, and there's the lid behind that was sealed, that was like hermetically sealed with some sort of like lime wash thing. They had to pry it open, but that it I've never seen anything like it, into the floor. And look at these huge granite blocks that make the flooring, and this is deep, 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 deep underground. I
But
definitely do.
wow,
I have
that's
a
crazy.
video. I have a video of this. For people who are saying I can't find the video, it was actually a video that I live streamed. I trialed at the beginning live streaming some videos to see if I could make content quicker. It was a bit of a faff. I stopped doing that, so it might actually appear in my live stream videos rather than my like videos on the channel. But yeah, this is one of my favorite pyramids, just for like the weirdness of this. Like, how unique is that?
Yeah, oh, it is. I mean, you look at the if you look at that, do you want to still share?
Yeah, I was just seeing if there was
Okay.
another more images of it. I guess down here. Yeah, it's this is the how deep it is into the ground, like a full on under the ground. Fourth
Insane.
dynasty saying, and yeah.
You know, you think about when you look at a photo like that first one that you showed,
Mhm.
here I'll
There you
remove
go.
it. When you look at that photo, like the first one you showed, and you look at the size of that oval box thing and and those giant, I'm guessing they're probably limestone slabs that are underneath there.
Mhm.
The people that built that, the power and the wealth behind that is completely insane. Just the power and the significance that you have to have just to be able to do something like that
Mhm.
is insane. Thousands of years ago.
It's insane.
It just
Yeah,
blows my mind, you know, that
and so,
what people
yeah.
come up with.
And so since the 1960s, so for the last like 40, 50, 60, 70 years, uh it's on what's it called, it land, a military base, so nobody can access it. You can't even do a like, you know, special permission. You can't pay. It's military. They're not letting anyone on there, and they just use it as a massive trash dump. So it's just full. That whole thing is just going to be full of plastic, and it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to go in, obviously, for excavations, but I'd love to do a forensic excavation if this did have, you know, goo and gunk and all kinds of chemicals.
There's so much.
Landachem would have a field day going at that tub.
Oh,
So,
you would.
yeah, that's exciting. So I think my predictions of what's going to be in the void of the Great Pyramid, if anything, I think it's going to be something. If there's anything that's still hermetically sealed, some sort of collection box tub, some sort of goo, some sort of salt residue, something that is part of the puzzle of the rest of the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. I wonder if that would even be visible on like a little
Yeah.
camera. You know what I mean? If you maybe you'd be able to tell there's something there, but it might be something that you could only see if you were standing right in front of the right inside the chamber, really. But probably nobody is ever actually going to be inside of the chamber. Yeah, that's crazy. I heard a story from maybe I've told this before. I think I've definitely told it on my channel. Of I was with an Egyptologist on a felucca, like in the middle of the night on the Nile. We're
Mhm.
watching the sun come up over the mountains, and we're sitting there talking about this void that's been discovered in the pyramid and what's going to be there. And he told me that he thought that it was actually going to be Khufu's burial chamber. And I was like, "Oh, really? Like, so you really think that's going to be his burial chamber?" And he was like, "Well, yes. If anybody could complete the pyramid, it would be his son Khafra. And I think that he sealed him in there, and nobody can ever, get to his tomb." Because he was talking about how most of the time, like if a pharaoh died, Now, of course, we're talking about later in Egypt, Valley of the Kings pyramid, New Kingdom, right? So a lot of those pharaohs, you go into the Valley of the Kings, and when you go to Valley of Kings, you kind of have to really be into the New Kingdom to enjoy it. Otherwise, you may not enjoy Valley of the Kings that much. But you can see in some of the tombs where it's just like halfway completed, and then they died. They put the pharaoh in there, and then they close it, and they never work on it again. And the new pharaoh gets started. So like Egypt was pretty cutthroat. If you died and you didn't have your tomb completed, no one was going to complete it for you. The new pharaoh would shut that down, bury you, close the entrance, and that was all that you got. So he was thinking like, well, if Khafra really is his son, maybe Khafra honors him and buries him in it. And I was like, all right, man, well, we're going to find out. If it's this giant void above the king's chamber, because the idea for everybody watching is that in the fourth dynasty, I don't know if people realize this. The fourth dynasty, the traditional Egyptological narrative is that the pharaohs start seeing themselves infused or as the human embodiment of the god Ra. They're not just like the high priest, they are literally the god as well as the high priest. And it kind of evolves over time. Say it again.
Really, really humble. Yeah.
Yeah, very humble.
Just really low key, down to earth guys.
There's a lot of dilemmas here. So they start seeing themselves as the human embodiment of Ra, and which means that they don't need to be buried in a subterranean tomb anymore. So most of the time you have a 45-degree shaft tomb or you have a vertical shaft tomb in Egypt. Everywhere. That's how Egyptians are buried, except for a few pharaohs during the fourth dynasty who entomb themselves in these great pyramids, which includes, it includes the Red Pyramid, it includes the Bent Pyramid, and then the Great Pyramid, Khafra, and Menkaura. No, Menkaura is under the ground. So it's just Khafra and Khufu that are above ground. And then also the Red Pyramid, the Bent Pyramid. Anyways, what Egyptologists think is that these guys viewed themselves as more than just humans. So they needed to be buried above ground, I guess, to go along with the fact that they're a god, right? So, and that's why you see the theory that Khufu was originally going to bury himself in the subterranean chamber. Then he goes to the queen's chamber. Then he goes to the king's chamber. And that's supposedly the burial chamber. But think about this. If this guy is changing the way that Egypt ran, that the way that they built tombs, the way that all pharaohs had done for 600 years before him, he doesn't, like you were saying, he doesn't sound like a very humble guy. So why is his name not anywhere inside of the tomb? That's another thing that Egyptologists will come back with, and they'll say, well, if you want to see tombs that are decorated in the way you think a pharaoh would, go look at the New Kingdom, where you can see that they have their names everywhere. But that's a fallacy, because we have third, second, and first dynasty tombs where the interiors have hieroglyphs that tell you who the dude was that's buried inside the tomb. But yet with any of the Great Pyramids and the pyramids that come before the Great Pyramids, nothing of the sort exists. So that's the whole dilemma here.
Do you think they've actually found the burial sites of a lot of these early dynasty kings and pharaohs, and they haven't announced it? They've just kept them in storage because they found that they've been buried not in the pyramid, and they've gone, that really throws. So I'm wondering whether they wouldn't surprise me if there's a couple of the old Khufus just in a storage center. Because I remember being on tour in Egypt and being told just how much of a fraction of what Egypt has is actually on show, either in temples or in the museum. Their majority of stuff that they have in Egypt is in storage, and they have huge warehouses and underground spaces for all of the ancient stuff, and a lot of it and just how much has gone on the black market that we've lost over time.
But, if Khufu's body isn't in like Jeff Bezos' private collection or something like that,
I do wonder whether they've found, even if they found one of the pharaohs who was supposed to be in a pyramid, and they're not in their assigned pyramid, they've been found in the ground in an actual. I wouldn't be surprised.
My favorite theory that's ever been proposed by an Egyptologist, because I think it shows just the gap of understanding that we have. I believe he was a German Egyptologist in the late 1800s. Somebody could fact check me on this. Maybe it's 1860s or 1890s. But he excavated Amenemhat III's pyramid. Amenemhat III is basically the greatest pharaoh of the Middle Kingdom, which no one ever talks about the Middle Kingdom, but really cool period of Egyptian history. But he's the greatest pharaoh of the Middle Kingdom. And it turns out that he had a pyramid. I think that's at Saqqara, or maybe it's just north of Dashur. There's a little area. So you have Saqqara, you have Dashur, and there's an area between them. I don't know why the name is blank. But if you're sitting on top of the red pyramid's entrance and you're looking out towards Saqqara, you can see Amenemhat III's pyramid just a little north of you. His pyramid was supposedly designed proportionately to Old Kingdom pyramid complexes or whatever. And when the German Egyptologist excavated it, his original findings, his writings about his excavations, he thought that there was no way that there was ever actually a pharaoh buried in this pyramid. He said that he didn't think it was a tomb at all, that it was more like a cenotaph, which is something that looks like a tomb. You would think it's a tomb, but it clearly has some other kind of purpose. And then later on in his career, all the way down at Abydos, where all of the pharaohs from the first through the third dynasty have been buried, he found the actual subterranean burial chamber of Amenemhat III. And then he realized, oh, this guy had two monuments, or he has two sites, or there's a pyramid that we think that he built that's been attributed to him, according to traditional understanding, but yet I found his body all the way down here at Abydos. And for people who don't realize, Abydos is the graveyard of the pharaohs. Like when Egypt begins, that's where all of the pharaohs are being buried.
Yeah, it's weird that
with the god Osiris. So
it's weird that they would put Giza as a pharaoh burial ground, really, because it's hundreds of miles other end of the country, and only for like a few generations, and then back down. Really interesting.
It's not very long. That's kind of what goes with the theory that the fourth dynasty pharaohs are kind of like heretical rulers in a way, because in the way I was saying that they're viewing themselves as one with the god rather than the high priest of the god. Because from dynasty 1 all the way up until Senefru at the beginning of the fourth dynasty. Now we're talking like 3000 BC to 2900 BC, 2800, 2700, 2600-ish, getting to 2500. This is centuries of tradition here. And so this is where they think that in the fourth dynasty, these guys turn away from the old ways and not only see themselves as the high priest of the gods, but like as the actual god themselves. And that's why they start interring themselves above ground. Well, the main pothole in this theory is that these guys don't sound like they're very humble at all. Why is their name not inside of their tomb in the same fashion that you see in tombs from centuries before they were ever alive? Yeah. There's something, no matter what way you cut it, no matter as conservative or as theoretical as you try to get about it, the traditional understanding doesn't make sense. I've read Zahi Hawas's book on the pyramids. I've read Mark Lehner's books on the pyramids. There's a lot of interesting stuff there that they talk about. But at the end of the day, when you get down to the end of it, there's no bulletproof concrete argument that perfectly explains all of this about the pyramids. It really is a mystery. I don't even know how we got off on this, but it's fascinating.
No, well, we were, I think, yeah, this is what's great. We were just we're chit-chatting. But yeah, it's super fascinating. Again, to my point, once you start looking at the questions and the mysteries, it's really hard to turn back around again and pretend like you haven't seen it or think about it. It just keeps you up at night. If anyone's got any wild theories or predictions on what they think is in the big void of the Great Pyramid, please place your bets in the comments, because I don't know, it's interesting. Someone's got to get it right. Most of us will get it seriously wrong.
My bet would be that it's empty. That's gonna be my bet.
Empty substances.
If it is Khufu's tomb and his body's in there with a sarcophagus and a bunch of gold, treasure,
I will eat my Raiders hat.
You know what? I'll be just as excited about that. I'll be very excited about that, because clearly there's all kinds of stuff we need to start questioning about the pyramids, and it changes everything. And it doesn't explain how they were built or what their full purpose is or anything. But my my guess is that it's gonna be a giant empty stone room. But I kind of hope that there's something in there. I don't know. I just hope that there's something.
I heard an interesting theory, and it was Bob Greenyer, who has a channel called the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project on YouTube. And he did a video on his theory about what he thought the Great Pyramid potentially could have been used for, because his whole thing of research is looking into how water can create energy, and basically like nuclear fusion with using water. And he works with a lot of scientists in Russia who have been proving that that you can, with water, you can create kind of these whirlwinds, create these tiny black holes, and you can create these pockets of nuclear fusion. It's very, very sciencey. But he was saying that actually the basic premise of what they're working on over there can apply, or could apply, to the principle of the pyramid, because we know for a fact that there was water up and around the front of the pyramids. Every single pyramid, what is the things that are all in common? They all have water channeled in and around. All in the Giza Plateau, you can see the old copper channeling points. And again, if it was a tomb, if it was a resting place, why do you need fresh water? Why do you need water channels? And so the idea that all of the shafts inside the pyramids are water shafts, so getting water in around and about. Yeah, and he was saying that you could basically make there's a theory of making energy using water, and the way that the pyramid is constructed with granite, but it's missing a very specific piece that basically makes it work, the heart of it. He in the grand chamber, but the hall, the grand gallery, there we go. So in the grand gallery, he goes, the theory only works, you would need to have two grand galleries. They would have to mirror each other for this to work. And at the top of the grand gallery that we can access, there would have to be these granite blocks that would be infused with kind of like, sorry, excuse the very tired baby brain, but when something is nuclear, what is radioactive charged?
I have no idea.
Okay, right. So basically he was saying that there would have to be these charged granite blocks up, and you would have to have a mirror of the Great Hall in order for this theory to work. But so he'd sat on that theory for a while, and he went, well, but that's not going to work, because there isn't a mirror image grand gallery. And then the scans came out about the void, and that's when he made a video on it proposing his theory, because it would work so it'll be interesting to see the shape of it, because at the moment they just have a void, but they don't know exactly where or what the shape is. If the shape is a mirror image, as above so below, of the grand gallery, and then his theory kind of could have legs, could have be researched more. But he said that, but you can see in the grand gallery literally today, if you look up, everyone's so busy sort of looking around, they don't really look up. The sides of the grand gallery, you can see that somebody has chipped away and pulled out what would have been beams high up. And he's proposing that there was these sort of radioactive granite beams, like a kind of core energy chip to the pyramids, and that they were removed at some point, probably when at some point somebody was attacking and somebody made the call, take them out of the pyramid, like deactivate the structure kind of thing, and remove them. And you can literally see where there was these place for these beams to be, and they've been chipped out. And like, it would be a weird thing for anybody to remove, again, for what purpose? And you can also see that there are these weird ring marks in the Grand Gallery ceiling, like a kind of arc of like stainage that no one's really taken note of it, no one's really investigated.
Sure, sure.
And it's part of his theory saying that if this was sort of some sort of energy mechanism, that there would be exactly where he's predicting it. You can run an arc almost through the bottom Grand Gallery that would go into the top Grand Gallery through this, like, these radiation blocks, and it could leave exactly that arc of energy. And there's like a mark of it on the ceiling, or a stain of some kind. Could not be that. It could be a stain of, I don't know what else. I'm sure Land of Chem Jeff's got a theory, but
Sure
interesting. I've been in the Grand Gallery a few times and I hadn't noticed them until he pointed out in his video. So that's Bob Greenyer. He also speaks at Cosmic Summit, and it's his Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project YouTube. Scroll back, find something about the pyramids. Really interesting. So do we have some missing radioactive blocks of granite from the Grand Gallery? So I'm going to put a £20 bet on the void being a mirror image of the Grand Gallery.
Okay. Very cool. You know, when you said that, when you said about he could kind of see through the evidence that's there, he could see something, I guess, in a way, like beyond, like, you know, if there were another mirror image of the Grand Gallery, such and such could happen. And I was thinking there's a very similar thing that happened in the Olmec world, kind of in a way. The wife of the head archaeologist of San Lorenzo and La Venta in, I think this was 1925. Her name was Marion Sterling. Now, women couldn't be in charge of anything at this point in time, especially not in Mexico. That's still kind of the case in lots of parts of Mexico. But as far as everybody is concerned, Marion is basically the brains of this whole operation, exploring the Olmec world. And they find this thing, I think it's called Stela C, and it was like this bar and dot code system that tells you this date. And they had linked, just previously to this, they had linked the Maya calendar system, which is much younger than the Olmecs, to the Christian Gregorian calendar. So we kind of understood how these dates worked and how to be able to see, how to be able to tell time, I guess, and keep up with the chronology of the Mesoamerican world. Well, Marion Sterling only had half of this stela. And from all the evidence that was around it, I don't know if she lived to see this, but she was reading the code that's on it, and then she predicted what would be on the other side of it, if there was another part of the stela or if there was a second one. And she was able to look at it, figure it out, and be like, well, it would be this, which would put it at like 161 BC or something like that. If there were another part of this, another half to this code that could make this make sense. Otherwise, if this isn't it, then I don't know what it is. And then I think it was after she died, they're excavating there, and they actually found the second part of the stela, and it was exactly what Marion Sterling had thought that it might be. And man, I've seen so many other archaeologists, independent research, whatever, who have dedicated their lives to studying like a certain area or a certain mystery, and they're able to, like, it's almost like their intuition is connecting them to the past or to something that's bigger than us. And they're kind of able to see what this thing is without being able to physically prove it. And then later on, they're proven right. So it's a very interesting mystery. Who knows? But I agree with you. I mean, I think that the scans show it looks like it's something that's not quite as big as the Grand Gallery, but close to being as big. And I think you might be right that it's going to be like a second gallery. For what? I have no idea. I don't know what the purpose of it would be. So
I was just trying to flip down Bob's page to see if I could direct people exactly. He's got a lot of videos and a lot of live streams. I'm trying to see which video was the one that had the pyramid, because he shows an image in that video of the circular staining at the top of the Grand Gallery, and where he thinks the granite blocks have been hurriedly, quickly chipped out and removed for some reason. Because they wouldn't be removed for any other reason. They don't help access to anything or anywhere. They weren't part of the like the kind of excavation tunneling that was going through originally because it's on the ceiling. It's like, it's weird. He thinks they were taken out in antiquity and in a hurry, like someone going quick, get the core out kind of thing. If I find it, I'll put it in the description post show, guys, so that that you can find it. But interesting.
Yeah, so much out there. So well, anything else going on in your world right now?
No, I think yeah, I'm gonna fall off the planet for a few weeks while I have a baby, and then we'll be back to it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing you back. Johanna and I filmed a few weeks ago. We filmed a video that's coming out on my channel about the some of the mysteries of the Titanic, and it's just she and I nerding out about it. I haven't gotten to put it out yet. I've just had so many other things.
I completely forgot we did that. Yes, I had a big plan to do a big Titanic video, but then that just completely fell off with all of the baby.
Well, you'll get to it.
Medical stuff. But yeah, there we are. And we're going to hit a nice sweet hour of a podcast. So thanks guys for joining us. If you've just joined us now and you missed the beginning of what's going on, we are officially launching the first wave of Raiders merch, which you can find. It's going to be linked to all our YouTube channels. Yeah, it's exactly the same. There's two sites. There's Luke's got a site and I've got a site on Fourth Wall, and they're exactly the same spec, exactly the same merch, either side. So you can just pick which shop you want to buy from. And there we are. And also to remind people that we are now officially like properly on Spotify, so you can find all of the back catalogue of Raiders stuff. You don't have to watch it through YouTube if that's not your preferred, because YouTube has a lot of adverts if you don't pay for private YouTube, whereas some people might be ad free on Spotify. So there's an option to go there.
Yeah, for sure. The only other thing I'm working on is so I've had this background. I usually have my plant, it's watering right now, but I usually have my plant next to me. I've had this background for several months now, but you guys have just really changed my life a lot on YouTube, and I'm gonna a lot's changed, so I'm changing quite a few things as well. We're building out the studio here. We're gonna make it like a 1940s 1940s military camp tent. You guys will see it. You'll see it. It'll be really cool. It'll be like I don't know how to explain it, but you can just look it up. 1940s military campaign expedition tent. And so it's going to be really, really cool. I'm working on a couple new series for YouTube right now. Two different historical topics that I don't think anyone has ever spoken about. They both have to do with the Americas. One of them will branch out around the rest of the world. But so the first one I'm doing is are like biographies on famous Native Americans. It's called Native America's Most Wanted. And it's about all of the most notorious Native Americans and how they just would completely mess up the Europeans that are colonizing the Americas. And it goes all the way from Manco Inca to Quanah Parker, Tecumseh, Sitting Bull. It goes on and on and on. And then the other one I'm working on that I don't think anybody's making videos about this. The series I'm doing is called The First Explorers. And it's going to be an account, a global account. A lot of it has to do with the Americas, of course, but it's going to be a global account of the first explorers at every major historical place, whether it's a state or a site. So, for instance, as it has to do with Egypt, I'll have a video that says, what did the first explorers find in the Great Pyramid? What did the first explorers find at the Osirion? You know, things like that. But then it could also be, what did the first explorers find in Texas? What did the first explorers find in the Caribbean or in the Pacific Islands? You know, it's just, I don't think people are familiar with these very first historical accounts of all of these places that are around the world. I mean, there was so much that the first explorers at these all of these sites saw that just get lost in the historical accounts. details that people don't really remember or don't ever bring up, but man, it's fascinating the things that some of these people saw. So those are the two projects I'm working on, and working on revamping up the studio. So yeah.
I found the video from Bob Greenyer. So I'm just going to quickly share the screen so I can
Let's do it.
just present what I'm looking at here. So the video, here we go. The video on Bob's channel, it's Martin Fleischmann Memorial, and it's called O'Day, New Dawn of an Old Age. And it's actually a live stream that he did. So it won't be in his videos, it will be in the live stream. And let me pull up here. So he's talking here about the let's see, this is the top of the Grand Gallery. Can you see the Grand Gallery?
I can.
Okay. So oh, and there's an advert. Great. What was I just saying? An advert within an advert. So here he's looking at the top of the Grand Gallery, and where there is chunks missing, where he thinks that there was bars across. So you see these chunks that have been taken out.
Yeah.
They've been chipped away for no reason at the side. On here, he thinks that originally that there was probably these granite blocks slotted across. And he shows, I mean, I can't, you'd have to go through the video. The video is quite long. But just to put into perspective, here we go. So he superimposes the technology around this toroidal moments that it happens in nature, and how it creates these basically like little wormholes, little black holes, and it can create energy. It can rip matter from the universe, and it can also produce matter. And it weirdly, when he puts the diagram of that you normally need, so he's discussing here as we're watching, if you can see the visual here, that you would need something above the Grand Gallery. You'd need to create a full toroidal moment, a full circular moment of it going through, and then weirdly, where you would then it would like sort of suck matter in from one end, and where it would deposit it, guess where in the whole of the pyramid where the deposit spot is? Where would it be?
I have no idea.
So literally where the granite box is in the King's Chamber is where the exit of where matter would be deposited. Really? He didn't manipulate the diagram or anything for that to happen. He just noticed. And also he noticed that where the end of where the sort of like energy reactor, sort of like the room of where it happens, the very, very edge of where that stops is, do you see the three blocks at the end of the shaft? The three not concrete, they're definitely not concrete. The three granite blocks that
the portcullises,
like the portcullises that block the entrance to the shaft. He noticed at the very, very edge of where the sort of the energy zone would be is those three granite blocks. He thinks that they were safety blocks.
Oh wow.
That basically marked the edge of where was safe. And then he also thinks that that weird entrance hall that we found a few years ago that they discovered, that sort of goes nowhere and to nothing at the very front of the pyramid, and it just sort of goes into this hallway that goes to nowhere. He thinks that was had a point and purpose as well to the whole of the thing, that you would go and you would look in and you would see whether or not if it was safe to enter the pyramid for collection, whatever they were making.
That's
that was
crazy.
So that it's supposed to go nowhere, because it was just, you could see whether or not the pyramid was active. But anyway, it's really, really interesting. And so he's talking here about this is the new, and again, it all lines up exactly.
That's the one that Zahi said that Khufu was supposed to be buried in. The one that's, do you remember that? When this little void that was found that they sent the drill cam up in, and then Zahi was like, that is Khufu's burial.
No, the entrance right at the front of the pyramid, the entrance tunnel that goes nowhere, and they stuck the little camera in there.
Yeah.
And then they showed, and then they were like, it's a tunnel, and it goes and it ends nowhere. It actually ends bang on again where this like energy field would be. So he thinks that it was like a viewing platform. Anyway, really interesting. I think that it's he could be barking up the wrong tree, but it was just very interesting that he was superimposing science that is being researched right now
Sure.
in a completely different field for a completely different thing. But if you scaled it up and superimposed it on the pyramid, it would in theory, it would work. So wait, there we are. Let me stop sharing my.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I've always thought about stuff like this. Even if people with their ideas, like with Land of Kim, even if he's right about one thing that he's saying, out of if 1 out of 10 points are correct, he's made a monumental discovery here. He's seen something that no one else has seen, and it can utterly shift the way that we understand ancient Egypt.
Oh yeah.
And people see these patterns everywhere, and there's got to be something to some of it. And whatever that is, it's a monumental discovery.
It's vortex technology, fractal toroidal moment. I was deep in the source about 9 months ago, and obviously I've fallen off the research since being pregnant. But it's very, very what we would call low tech. You just need water and vibration, and it's using sound waves in water to create a vibration which creates a vortex. You need to have this circular vortex going on, and they've proven in various other things. They've literally they've done mini experiments, and they've ripped vortex holes in aluminium, and they've ripped up a piece of aluminium, and then it's gone through the vortex and it's deposited other chemical compounds. And essentially that's what they're saying, that there is a very realistic theory on a massive scale that you could do it with the pyramid if it had active water, and that if there was sound resonance. And we know for a fact that all the pyramids have mad sound resonance, and they are tuned to frequencies and whatnot. So you just need sound waves and resonance and frequency mixed with running active water, mixed with a few other confinements, a few other chemicals and elements in play. And then you can basically be extracting deposits of things. And it would be interesting, really interesting, that you have this massive granite box that you could then deposit something in. It's very sciencey. It can feel a bit woo-woo, but
it's above my pay grade.
It's above my pay grade, but I think it's really good. So New Dawn of an Old Age, Martin Fleischmann Memorial. I would definitely give it a watch, because then the options, the theory that's out there.
Yep. Well, guys, we're gonna have to bring it to a close. I've got to take care of my yard today. That's what I'm up to.
Well, you had another birthday, so you're a year older to becoming that guy that just looks after his yard.
Oh, I was thinking about that yesterday. I'm sitting there. It's like 2 a.m. and so we just planted, for everybody watching, we planted Bermuda. And so at our new house, and you have to really take care of Bermuda. It is hard to keep it alive at the beginning. So I'm sitting there at 2 a.m. watering my lawn, and I'm like, I'm this guy. I'm this guy. That's drinking my morning caffeine, looking out the window at my yard. Yep, it's looking pretty good today. I need to go ahead and.
Since being in our 30s, I've watched my now fiance. He's become a garden man, and he'll be looking out in the window in the garden. And now for his birthday, I get him things like garden tools and equipment, and that. He loves it. That's his jam. So yeah,
that's hilarious.
I'm like, where is he? I can't find him in the house. He'll be in the garden at somewhere with some sort of tool doing something. Brilliant.
Well, guys, we're gonna have a lot that's happening between now and the next time we all see each other. So check out get yourself some Raiders University merch. Sign up, enroll in the school. We'll be putting the list of students in the description of every episode in the future. And we will catch you guys next time. Jehanna and I are going to get together at some point early this fall and make a list of when we're having class. And you guys need to be here every month on time. We can't reprimand you, but we can give you the bad look. And so anyways, we'll be seeing you guys again very soon. Johanna, it's great to see you again. You're looking great. And I am looking forward to talking to you again very soon, again later this week.
See you all on the other side, guys.
All right. Everybody wish Johanna luck. Next time we see her, she's going to officially be a mother. So it's going to be awesome.
Yes. All right.
All right. Well, we'll say whatever our outro is supposed to be. Eventually, Johanna and I will come. Maybe this will be our thing, is every episode we'll say we need to come up with an outro.
We need to come up with an outro. We'll just mumble out. We just mumble out of the room being like, sorry, apologies.
All right, guys. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
See you later.
Sorry, we don't have